The biggest changes we get in Shinobi Striker are when we finally see the release of new DLC characters. A lot of things get added into the game right away, while some files are locked away until a later date. Unless you're me, who has access to things early. Thanks, Shinobi Shop. One thing that usually gets dedicated into multiple videos for content creators, however, is the new Jutsu buffs we get every character release. Buffs, nerfs, and reworks in video games are nothing new, as it is common practice to do so in order to maintain balance in the online gaming scene. With the recent Kaguya DLC, this is no exception. However, there are things I definitely noticed during my time recording the Bruce Lee video, which you should go watch after this one. Another video that I'd recommend watching is the Meta Downfall video, since that one sort of directly ties into this video. In there, I talked about how certain jutsu and the claw weapon archetype were basically nerfed into the ground. And this was certainly seen when I recorded several matches during the face-off event for the Bruce Lee video. One thing I did not talk about in the Meta Downfall video are the buffs. Instead of just talking about certain jutsu that got buffed with this update right away, I want to try and create another discussion topic about jutsu balancing. You guys seem to really enjoy these videos as they end up being highly viewed and interacted with. I hope that this one is no exception, as I enjoy seeing everyone's thoughts after I post my own in a video. It helps me kind of see where my ideas resonate in the community, and perhaps it causes you to think about things you never have thought about in the past. First off, understand that balancing jutsu can fall into one of four categories. We can imagine these categories in the form of a pyramid to show which ones are common and which are not. At the base of the pyramid, we have your standard changes. Mainly, these are changes towards your cooldown times, damage output, ultimate charge rates, things like that. The next tier up are your performance tweaks. In here are the jutsu that may not be acting like they are intended to and need some minor fixes. A great example of this is Yasuga Beads, where the projectile had a great turning radius and could basically be like a boomerang. Or one of Frieza's Death Slicers. Wrong anime. Our third tier are minor additions. These are additions that are meant to counter specific aspects in the game. A good example of this are the wind style jutsu having anti-heal. It doesn't do anything special in normal combat, sure, but if the opponent is trying to heal themselves, a wind style jutsu can cause that to be hindered, which can change the tide of the battle. At the top of the pyramid are major additions. Now, major additions can be seen as something that allows certain flaws of a jutsu to go away, or maybe improve on what it could already do well and apply to other scenarios. Usually, changes at the top of the pyramid are complete game changers, and in the competitive scenes, a rise of a new meta. And this is what I saw during my time recording the Bruce Lee video. The lower number of claw users and the complete absence of Oboroguruma during my severe number of failed recordings proved that my statements in the Meta Downfall video were correct. Out with the old and in with the new. Sort of. But since it was a heavy downfall for the attack class, what served as a new go-to for them? It's definitely a combination of jutsu, both of which got major additions that were meant to improve on what the jutsus were good at and take them to new heights. This is a combination of Teleportation Jutsu and Almighty Push. Teleportation ended up getting another bonus effect with an increase in tracking ability. With a movement increase, ninjutsu damage increase, and now a tracking increase, this easily became a favorite after Swift Step took a nerf in the same update. Thus, Teleportation became a replacement for everyone in order to keep a similar feeling of movement after the defensive nerf. The other jutsu, Almighty Push, got an increase in its effective range. I haven't seen an exact number to say what sort of changes we're talking, but I'm willing to say it's around 40% of an increase in the force field you create around yourself. The reason that I find this to be a major addition is the fact that now, this jutsu has new uses. Originally, it was seen as a good counter jutsu, able to stop projectiles and rushing opponents, as well as a combo move when you get up close and use a light string of attacks, and end with Almighty Push. Now take into account how fast the jutsu can actually activate, and think about how big 40% of an increase could really be. This jutsu has now become a crowd control expert, allowing people to use teleportation to close the gap and go into group engagements. Then pop Almighty Push in order to stop all the enemies while allowing your allies to follow up, all while dealing even more damage thanks to the ninjutsu buff from Teleportation. The new range of the jutsu also means that there's a lot more room for error on the user and still gaining an attacking advantage. Not to mention, it requires more thought on the opponents to split up further during group engagements so that one use of Almighty Push doesn't hit multiple bodies and cause a potential team wipe. Jutsu balancing is a risky thing to do at times. If the change is too small, it won't have any real effect that the players would notice, and thus the jutsu can still be seen as a problem like it was. Cause too much of a change, and it could make a jutsu completely irrelevant. Or jump from one of the least used moves to now immediately on top of the metagame. Maybe this update was meant to be the meta change we asked about for so long. Maybe things went too far with Almighty Push and it could see a nerf by the start of Season 7. Maybe we could see another change in a jutsu that doesn't necessarily need any changes. Who knows what could happen? All we do know is that they can help keep a game fresh and exciting. Or miserable. I leave that decision to you guys to decide for yourselves. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on the bell so you always get notified whenever I upload. I await the discussion down below on your thoughts. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next video, the next stream, whatever it may be. Peace out!